Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies. We're attending today's webinar with Zyxel. Today's host is Tri Nguyen, and he is their Market Development Manager, and he'll be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please remember to submit them in the question box, and Tri will be able to answer them at the end of today's presentation. Tri, thank you so very much for being with Microcom today. We greatly appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to seeing what you have to share with us. So please go ahead and take it on over.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon or good morning to everybody. My name is Tri Nguyen, as she had mentioned, and I'm a part of Zyxel network. So we are just going to go through a quick introduction. I'm going to talk about some of the products related mostly the security side and on our switching side, and give you a brief overview of that. So hopefully it maybe drum up some interest or drum up some ideas or thoughts of how you could utilize Zyxel solutions within your network infrastructure for your end user customers. So just as a quick introduction, if you don't know who Zyxel Networks is, we are been in business over 35 years now, 100 million devices making global connections, 650 plus employees worldwide serving 150 markets globally, and over 1 million businesses use our solutions today. We are an award-winning brand and recognized internationally as well, and we make up a part of the entire Zyxel group. So there's a manufacturing arm, but Zyxel Networks is focused on, like it says, the networking side. So all of your security, your wireless, your cloud, wired connectivity, and PoE switching and all that. And that's what we manage here in the North American arm of the company. So it makes up an entire bigger piece of the entire corporation in that group overseas as well. So as an introduction, one of the main key points, as a reminder, if you have heard already, maybe from a previous webinar, or you've heard in the marketing side of things, is what we call Zyxel Nebula. And Nebula is our cloud management platform that manages and helps MSPs, system integrators, IT managers manage all of their networking devices under a single pane of glass, not only for yourself or maybe for your customers, but can be scaled to multiple organizations, so multiple customers, and each customer having multiple sites. So you can have hundreds or thousands of customers and each having hundreds or thousands of locations or sites underneath them, being able to manage all that from a single pane of glass. And so that's what Nebula offers, which a lot of other vendors may not have this kind of cloud management platform for an entire network stack. It's primarily focused for the SMB, so those small, medium-sized businesses. So that's our main bread and butter and our focus today. One of the advantages of using Nebula is something that we call setup without unboxing, and this will apply to all the products, the wireless, the security, and the switches. By scanning the QR code on the box, you can actually pre-configure or pre-set up the device in the Nebula cloud so that when it gets online, when it gets plugged in and actually installed physically, it will call home to the Nebula platform and get its configuration, get its firmware updates, and get up and going in a matter of minutes. And there's also a mobile app that comes into play that can help facilitate that even quicker. Not only does it give you a dashboard, but it also can be used to onboard those devices. So we have instances where you have installers who have, their technicians have the app. They don't have, maybe some of the details of configuration on the app, but they have the onboarding process or the account that lets them onboard devices. So while they're on site, they can do that as well. But in most cases, most customers will do this, ahead of time, or they will just work with, someone like Microcom to provide them with the serial MAC address information that they can then onboard into Nebula beforehand, before the device is even shipped. And that gives you an advantage because now you don't need a highly trained or certified network technician to do an install. Basically, anybody who knows how to plug in devices and can be trained to plug in this cable into this port and get it online and powered on, then they're able to, it automatically will dial home and get all that information that's already preset by somebody within the company that already knows or has configured that template for those particular customers. And because it's in the cloud, you have access anytime, anywhere. You don't need to go on site to do a lot of this configuration setup. And anywhere you have a browser, so any tablets, any laptops, any mobile devices that has a browser and internet connectivity, you have access to the full management suite and also troubleshooting tools and such within the Nebula Cloud platform. And it's built for MSPs and ISPs and also IT managers in mind, because again, the MSP view, the team view, the organizational ways that it's developed and ways that you manage, it's much like a tree structure that you're used to maybe in your files or your folders in your Windows machine. But again, it allows for you to organize things very easily and choose different admins to manage different customers if you'd like. Hassle-free auto deployment, pre-configuration devices while it's still in the box. It does cloud backup restore, especially like switch configurations. You can clone sites, and I'll talk a little bit about that a little more later on. And you can create templates and profiles, so it helps to speed up those installations. So if you've already created a template, it makes it easy for you to scale, because now you have the ability to cookie cutter from an existing kind of template that you've proof of concepted and know that this is your best practice for that type of customer. You can clone them over to a new customer, scan in the devices that you need for that customer, and now it takes on that configuration and identity. And this platform can serve millions of devices, and right now it's serving thousands of organizations, sites, and devices today. You can visualize your network, because now you can use this cloud management to get automatic topology from the device level, as well as on the VPN side. If you're doing that kind of thing on the security, you get port status information, real-time port and PoE utilization, physical stacking with the switches, and being able to drill in and do live diagnostics, to troubleshoot if anything goes on. So if you see a particular switch that has maybe a red or a yellow warning light on the topology, you can literally click into that and drill in and get some more information. Or you can drill and go from switch to AP or back to the firewall while you're drilling through, and to access all those different ports. And it gives you very visual way of looking at the network automatically. It's also AI driven from the security side. So if you're looking at doing any kind of cybersecurity insurance or ransomware protection or even content filtering, all of the AI driven security constantly evolves to make sure that you have the best security signatures and protection against the latest threats, especially if there's some new outbreaks that happen in the world. By sharing with it in the cloud, you now have benefits from sharing all of that information from a security perspective across multiple platforms, across multiple networks. On the switching side, it's also powered by AI as well. So there's intelligent PoE that can power up to twice as many devices on a single switch, because of the way that it allocates the PoE budget. You can auto-identify networks issues and then automatically take some action or recommendations on how to improve those networks. You may not know, but there could be a broadcast storm that's happening in your network. And so in order for you to know that, the only way you typically will know that is when somebody addresses that they have a problem or their network doesn't seem to be working right. That's where you would have to go in and troubleshoot. But with this kind of service, with this kind of platform, it gives you this information beforehand. So imagine serving a customer where you get to tell them that you're already on the issue or on the situation. What better customer service and experience that would be for your customers when you are telling them that you're already taking care of something that they may not have been aware of yet. Much better than them calling you and screaming and yelling that they've been down or something's been wrong for the last 3 hours. So that helps for you to not have to roll a truck out there to take care of them like in that instance right away, and you can take care of that. Auto backups, and then also the vendor-based VLAN. So if you're doing voice applications, it can automatically put those voice over IP phones onto special VLANs automatically based on your configurations. On the Wi-Fi side, which maybe one of my counterparts, Sean, had already presented on, but we also offer Wi-Fi access points that provide AI to help mitigate interference and improve user experiences through the Wi-Fi, through AI, through other means of bandwidth control and band steering, etc. and you get all that information in the Nebula Cloud. So even setting thresholds and seeing when a user or a mobile device gets to a certain dBm, where their signal strength is a certain level, you can see and visualize that as well. So it helps again to troubleshoot those devices. And in the Nebula Cloud, we have over 130 different devices now supported in there. So very comprehensive, from entry level cloud options, if that's a budget, if you have budgetary needs there, all the way up to project-based type devices with 10 gig and even 2500 gig options on the kind of higher end enterprise access level. So just as a walkthrough, we have a full breadth of solutions on the lower end for just a small office. You'll see like a USG 60 Lite or a 50H. And then when you get to a medium size, we scale to maybe our full UTM, USG Flex 200Hs in those office spaces, as well as Wi-Fi 7 access points. And then the kind of the mid-tier or mid-upper tier, you have our USG Flex 500H with full UTM, multi-gig switches with Wi-Fi 7 with smart antenna technologies. So when you have a larger office with more interference. And then our flagship models are USG Flex 700H and the WBE 630S for a very large office space with many devices, a lot of interference, or maybe even warehouse applications or in classrooms and things like that that are looking for multi-gig, 10 gig uplinks, as well as Wi-Fi 7. And so today, the rest of the time, I'm going to be focused on the switch side and on the security side and give you a quick introduction on some of the key products that we sell at Zyxel here. So powerful wired connectivity. So we just do things the way that helps partners and end users get a better feel on depending on what kind of applications they're using. So our lowest offering, or our most basic that has Nebula Cloud offerings, is our 1915 series. We do have unmanaged and basic web managed switches as well. That's not covered in this. But if you're looking for just the very basics and at the very lowest cost possible without cloud, then we do have those models on the lower end here. But I like to focus on the cloud, the 1915, because that does give you a differentiator advantage when dealing with maybe even a customer who does break fixes, where they will just install something for a customer, and then if something breaks, then they just come and fix it. But what the Nebula Cloud offers to them now is a way to easily get information before they roll the truck, to pretty much know what potentially is wrong or is going on with that network that can be potentially fixed remotely. So that can save a lot of time and money and effort there as well. So one of the first products that I wanted to introduce is our PoE 12-PED. We just launched this fairly recently. It is a PoE powered device switch, which then can extend. Basically, it's kind of like an outdoor extender and provide you additional pass-through PoE. So imagine if you have a IP camera or something that is beyond your typical Ethernet distance from the standard, you can inject this with 60 watts of power. It will consume 15 watts of that power for itself, and then provide an additional 45 watts to the other 3 ports that are on the device. Each port can support up to 30 watts, but you have to keep in mind you do have that 45 watt power budget. So this is outdoor rated. It's a water IP, I think it's 6.7 rated for there, and has a grounding cable as well. And it's very cost effective there if you're looking for an extender. We also have PoE injectors as well. If you're looking for 30 watt, 60 watt, and up to 90 watts with 10 gig uplinks as an injector. And then our most basic cloud managed or lowest cloud managing offer is the 1915 series. This is manageable in our Nebula Cloud platform. If you'd like to learn more about our Nebula Cloud platform, we do have webinars as well, or information about that we can provide to you through Microcom that educates you on why Nebula, you're probably using some other cloud services as well. But the main differences that we have is that we have the full network stack. Some other vendors may have the switch in the AP side, but they lack the security side. And then some may have the security piece, but then they lack the switch and the access point side. So you're having to mix and match, but now you can kind of consolidate into one network stack, one place to manage, and one place to service your customers. So the 1915 is that entry level, can provide you 60 watts on an 8-port or on 130 watt on a 24-port type switch. And again, those are web managed. Then we have our XMG 1915, so very affordable, very cost effective in the market today, against even the competitors that you might be selling today. But multi-gig, so the XMG just stands for 10 multi-gig. So it has 10 gig uplinks with multi-gig ports. So 2.5 copper ports with 10 gig uplinks. The PoE budgets are 130, 180. If you need, so it helps from a pricing perspective to be very more cost effective to have that lower power budget, especially if you don't need that much. But we do the smart and intelligent PoE. So you may see this as a benefit anyways, to lower maybe your cost, but still power up as many AP devices or the PoE devices as you need. GS 1315, it's a little bit of the break in the numbering system that I said was cloud managed, but the 1315 is a specialty switch because it is a CCTV function switch. It has extended range up to 250 meters built into it. It has continuous PoE, so if the device is going through some software configuration change, it will still keep the PoE running. So IP cameras that are on it do not need to have to reboot. It will also give you the status of the powered devices that are on the end, as well as do recovery. So if a camera stops sending traffic, it will detect that and be able to reboot that port automatically for you, and then alert you and alarm you through the Nebula cloud that what it's done. So that's a good advantage for you to not have to, especially customers who are doing IP cameras and CCTV, to not have to roll a truck just to power cycle a particular port. So this will help you do that and give you visibility for you to manually do that anyways. Even from a troubleshooting standpoint, you can go into the device, choose a particular port, and just say, can you reset that PoE? So turn off the PoE and then turn it back on. And it's in essence like you just power cycled the device on the other end. It has strong surge protection as well. Our mainstream switches, or the models that we typically sell in the channel, both online or through Microcom and through, just in general, is our 1920 series. And because it's a flexible switch, you can choose to use it within standalone, or you can use it in the cloud. Actually, all of the other switches I just mentioned, like the 1915, also are flexible. So you can use it as a standalone device without cloud, or you can use it in the cloud, or you can choose it with the free cloud, which I didn't mention. We do offer a free cloud option. So you can still have that management functionality in the cloud, auto provisioning, all included within the box. There are some advantages of going to the pro level of the Nebula platform, and that'll be covered in another probably session that goes a little bit deeper dive into the Nebula platform. But it does give you then 365 days of logs and all of those AI features that I mentioned. That's part of the pro package. And it's very cost effective as well. But this comes with a full stack. You'll have your 8 ports, your 24 and 48 ports with and without PoE. So the ones with PoE are the yellow, usually the yellow number indicators there. So that's the GS 1920s. And then we have a 10 gig version of it, meaning that these are all gigabit ports and they have 10 gig uplinks. So you can see the naming convention XGS. So that was a 10 gig uplink with gigabit switch ports. So the 1935 gives you that up all the way up to 375 watts of PoE. Again, 24 and 48 port with and without PoE options, as well as static routing functionality if you so choose to add that. The XS 1930s, if you're looking for a little bit higher end, or your customers are looking at Wi-Fi 7 that needs 60 watt PoE injection, then this 10 gig, all 10 gig ports with PoE option is probably your best bet. It has 10 gig uplinks or 10 gig SFP fibers with 10 gig copper, or you have a non-PoE 8-port switch with 2 10 gig uplinks that are all 10 gig, or you can go with a 10-port PoE with this, even though it's a 10-port, it has 8 ports of PoE. That 8 ports of PoE is still 375 watts. So a lot of PoE power injection capable in just this, 8 ports of PoE. You get two copper as well as two fiber uplinks as well. And again, all of these are manageable in the Nebula cloud, or if you're needing layer 3 type applications for that function. And then you get to a larger multi-gig switch, to a 24-port multi-gig with 700 watts of PoE. So we're starting to get into those larger applications for schools that need Wi-Fi 7, or maybe an office that's looking to do 10 gig as the core with multi-gig 2.5 and 5 gig uplinks on the copper to give you, multi-gig access or 10 gig core access. So we're seeing this migration happen a lot. Multi-gig is becoming a much larger piece of the pie now as people are migrating, or their internet connectivities, or maybe their local servers, et cetera, are running on 10 gig. It's become very much more affordable to run a 10 gig core, and then being able to take advantage of that with Wi-Fi 7 or multi-gig connectivity on the ports. So this boasts a very large power budget. Now the other ones, these other switches that I'm going to talk about here, they're much more on the project side, much higher end. These come built in with the Cloud Pro license. So if you do need larger power budgets, all the way up to 960 watts on 48 ports, this is the kind of the line that you would look at. So these are our 2220 series models. And then if you're looking for a top of the rack type switch, there is the XS3800. These all are 10 gig port capable. So depending on how you want to use that within your system. So a lot of different examples of how we can use these products. So on the small office side, on a branch office or a head office side, for students in a campus environment, in the switches. And of course, these can be combined with the wireless piece of it as well. Or high density locations where you need a lot of switches or a central fiber or 10 gig uplink. So we just launched our new CX 4800 switch, and this boasts a cloud manageable switch with high performance 48 ports of 10 gig / 25 gig SFP28 ports, as well as 8 100 gig QSFP28 ports. So this thing boasts 4 terabits per second of throughput. So very high end performance, but something that won't break the bank. I think the street price, the MSRP street price is I think it's $8,600 for this switch. And a lot of the competitors that offer this level of switch, you're looking at like around $14,000. So this also gives you layer 3 aggregation and stacking in a future. It's hot swappable power and fans that are involved within that device. Now that was the switch in kind of a nutshell. Again, we do have other models that are there, but we won't cover it in this session. If you're interested, or you might have some needs on maybe the more entry-level side of it, or maybe on the higher end side, feel free to reach out to Microcom and to us, and we'd love to talk you through that. But right now, I'll be focusing on more of the security side. Security is very important from a network perspective because most people don't think they need security, or they are not aware of the threats that happen on security. And many of you, if you've ever deployed any kind of true security appliance, the moment you plug it into the public IP address, you're going to be inundated with logs that are already checking to see if you have some sort of vulnerability, or if there's a certain port open so we could try to access. It's a cesspool, I would say, within the network space and the internet side of constant trying to find a way into your network. So how do we protect against that? With things like a firewall. So our entry-level USG Lite 60AX provides you firewall, Wi-Fi, and security all in one box. It has built-in Wi-Fi 6 that can mesh with other Zyxel access points that do mesh. It gives you dual 2.5 gig ports with that you can use on the WAN side and the LAN side. It's easy to set up. It works within Nebula. You can onboard it automatically with Nebula as well. It provides a very important piece for that low-end space is subscription-free security. It has built-in as a standard ransomware protection. If you like to upgrade to a more of a 0-day protection option, then there is I think it's only like a $49.99 per year fee that gives you then 0-day protection as well as content filtering services. So it's very cost effective in that to get a little bit better protection there. It gives you application visibility, so you can see what's happening on the network, what applications are being used, et cetera. And then also VPN connectivity if you're building this to get to back to maybe a main office, et cetera. And there's a lot of different security packs that you could offer to your customers or for yourself. Either the entry defense line on our firewalls, the Elite pack, or on our high-end USG Flex H series. There is the Gold pack. Think of it as a all-in-one full UTM, anything for a business kind of security threat management is in that Gold pack. So everything that for that kind of money can buy per se, and in protection levels, we provide then advanced seamless management and protection. You can configure these devices across the Nebula platform and synchronize a lot of the security profiles so that you can manage a customer very quickly and easily, especially if they have multiple sites. It's security that's using AI to constantly evolve, like I mentioned before. We are doing all the work with our partners to provide you with kind of the latest and greatest threat protection possible. So you also can use these platforms to provide VPN. So if you're looking to build connections between offices to offices, or maybe a home office to the main office, or even just a remote user using VPN to connect back to the office to do work, or then this type of unit would be what you would use. Centralized provisioning, making sure that all of the security profiles and policies are enforced across multiple sites for that particular customer, and also helps you with the easy VPN. And because it's in the cloud and you can use it on-prem, everything is synced in one place. You can now choose to manage it, whether you want to manage it right out of the device if you're used to that, or you use the Nebula Cloud, and it will sync across as one single configuration. So you can choose today to use it in the cloud, and then maybe tomorrow it's more convenient because you're on site to go directly to the user interface and do it from there. Just rest assured that any configurations you make is now synchronized together in the cloud. And it's powered by the best-in-class security experts out there. You can see there's a lot of different types of threats, from web content, from intrusion detection or prevention. There's malware, antivirus solutions. There's also application control. So if you've been thinking about how do I block BitTorrent or people downloading illegal music or files, that's the kind of solution that you would use to enable to enable that kind of service for your customers. Of course, websites and blocking people from going to social media web pages and such, that's easy with the web filtering, and you can customize that for your customer, or you can set a general policy, as a productivity profile, which we have within our products, and that automatically do kind of the work for you. And of course, you can uncheck the categories that you don't want. Or you can even do geo enforcement, where you can say, hey, any kind of traffic coming from a country that I don't think anybody needs to be accessing my network or server from, I can automatically block it right at the door. So geo enforcement lets you do that. So all of that to say, it comes all in a single box. Now people ask, well, why do you need a piece of hardware when everything's kind of done in the cloud? Well, it's even though the security might be in the cloud, or the applications you're using is in the cloud, that local network in your PC or any servers you have inside the network may still be vulnerable, may be subject to attack, or maybe they will take down the network or other devices within the network to cause disruption in your services. So the USG Flex 50H and HP, we kind of redefine that for the small business. It provides you high performance, and it's the first time in this product line or level that we offer in this this entry level enhanced UTM. So the full UTM suite is enabled within this 50H series. Whereas before, the previous generations, they only offered the antivirus the anti spam and the content filtering services. Now the models with the HP means that it comes with integrated PoE. So you'll see the 50 HP has an extra port, that a defined port that will give you 30 watts of PoE. So that's great to feed and power up maybe like a 5G router that you have for backup, or you can use it to power a phone or a Wi-Fi access point, things like that. So you can use this as a standard, add a Zyxel access point to it to give it now Wi-Fi connectivity. Then we have our flagship models. Our USG Flex 700H has our award-winning from CRN magazine for our cybersecurity and performance. So it offers up to 15 gigabits of high performance SPI firewall. For the full UTM, if you turned on all UTM services, it's great for 4 gigs of throughput, which I would recommend to be for your like 2.5 gig internet connection. So if you have any customers who said, hey, I'm upgrading to a 2.5 gig connection, then this product is probably great for them if they're needing to do full, ransomware protection, antivirus malware protection at the gateway level. It gives you also 10 gig uplinks as well to increase your kind of network speed within the local network without being the bottleneck. And this is all synced and made possible and manageable in the cloud. We also use AI security and cybersecurity intelligence. So all of these security platforms will give you information into what we call SecuReporter. And it is powered by AI as well, so it can help to identify threats. It can automatically identify abnormal user behaviors. And the best thing is that it can create customized reports. So these reports can be sent to your customers. You can customize them. You can put your logo information there if you're using our pro level. You can then choose what information to send to your customers. So if you've been, billing your customer or wondering, well, how do I justify, selling a security appliance or to my customer and showcase to them, well, is it doing anything? This report is perfect to go with that bill. Or you can turn on and enable the 30-day free trial for our security services on these platforms, and then use SecuReporter to gather that information over the next 30 days, provide them with the report to say, if you'd like to continue this service, here's the cost, but this is what we've protected you against over the last 30 days. If you don't subscribe, then these threats potentially can cause issues within your network. And it seamlessly switches and is integrated with our Nebula cloud platform. So you can choose and go between the two platforms there. So the entire product line series, you could see there's all different models. So from the lower entry level cost all the way up to the 700H. So maybe on the low end, you're looking at about a $200 to $300 price point, depending on if you get the one with the license, with the full UTM license. And even on the highest end that can support 2.5 gig UTM throughput on the 700H, you're looking at around, with the 1-year license of the full UTM, about $1,800 street price. So just to give you an idea, so very still cost effective for those customers to not have to spend thousands of dollars on a competitor firewall to meet this kinds of performance and speed. So it's made to secure small office for teleworkers on that lower end, and then you can scale to multiple offices or even onto the branch office side. Again, you can pair this with the wireless side and on the switching side, or for securing multiple branch offices together. You can use the lower end models to make VPN tunnels, or you can have the larger one at the main headquarters and scale any of the other models at the remote sites. So a very easy, cost-effective way of making these connectivities as you need. So I went over 3 minutes. So we covered 63 slides in 33 minutes, if you were counting the introduction as well. So now I guess now it's your turn. If you have any questions, I think I'm gonna hand it back over to you. And I guess there's some questions that might be popping up.
Thank you very much, Troy. I enjoyed that presentation very much. And yes, I do have some questions for you. Let's get started with the first one. And here we go. First question, Troy. What does secure by design mean for Zyxel's architecture and product development?
So secure by design for us, it's about making sure that what we build is secure and best practice from the ground up. So from the OS, from reporting of even after we've made the device and there are security reports or maybe patches that need to be made on the product, we're committed to security to make sure that it is as secure as possible and accepted in the market that way. So in the fact that we are also a CVE, which is a CNA, which is a CVE numbering authority. If you ever dealt with vulnerability numbers, there's always a CVE that is reported if something happens to any device. All vendors have this potential vulnerability, but not all vendors are an authority to actually report and to self-report. So we are committed so much that we will, if anybody brings any kind of bug or vulnerability to us, or if we find them, we release that to the public. And that information tells you what patches are needed for you, or what is the threat levels of that vulnerability reported, when the patches are going to come, what devices are affected. So again, it helps to inform the market on what to do and what is really affected. Because there's a lot of noise you might just hear. In general, some brand has a vulnerability, but it only affects one device. But because it's in the market, it's publicly available to know. So you kind of have to dig through that information, and we're here to help you and provide you that guidance.
Thank you very much, Try. Next question here for you. How is AI being used across your current product roadmap? For example, firewalls and routers.
So part of that is it's already been integrated in some ways. So there's already a level of AI. So in our sandboxing functions, where a new potential threat, maybe there's a new virus or something that it appears on someone's network, that is sandboxed by sending that information or that file, that unknown file at this moment. It sends it to the cloud, and what the cloud does is then the AI will put it in a sandbox where it's safe, opens up the file or executes the file or looks at where it's trying to connect, and then use that information to determine if this is a malicious file or not. And based on that information, let's say it is malicious, it then translates that into a signature or a malware, basically a malware detection signature, and is passed on into the cloud, where other devices now are basically inoculated from that type of malicious file. So that's maybe on the practical UTM side. On the abnormal behavior, on the reporting side, AI is being used now to help detect. So if you are an IT manager or an MSP, and there's millions of logs that are passing through, if you're managing many customers, of data. And so how do you know if there is some sort of anomaly or user behavior that is potentially malicious? And how do you find that? So AI is being used in those instances to help you detect abnormal behavior. And then AI is now being enhanced to help you with the remediation. So now that you found that there's a problem, well, what do I do about it? So AI is being used in those instances as well to improve the end user or the IT manager, the MSP, actions on what to do. So we continue to evolve that, and it's a nonstop, ongoing things on how we can use AI to make things more efficient, including within the cloud. So if you are new to Nebula, we just added an AI assistant as well within the platform. So if you're unsure about how to configure a certain thing, let's say, can you tell me how to configure a Wi-Fi SSID? The AI assistant will then basically take you through the process and show you what screens to go to, or to send you to that link or to that interface page, so that you can do what you need to do, what you ask for. So the learning curve, it helps with that if you're new to networking or new to the Zyxel platform on managing things like that. Now, from the security firewalls perspective, again, things like the sandboxing, and then on our partner side, they are also using AI to help detect these malicious signatures quicker, because the threats are always ongoing every day. There's always new things that need to be blocked and protected against. So you saw that list of partners, and so a lot of them also use AI now to digest all that information and process it into a way that can be used by our systems to protect your network.
Thank you so much, Try. Next question here for you. Regarding Nebula, can SMBs securely adopt Nebula without compromising data?
Absolutely. So the cool thing is Nebula is GDPR certified. So in the European Union side of things, they are very strict on customer data and information management. And so we qualified and we've passed and certified for that. because we don't necessarily send any information to the Nebula cloud. It's all management and management logs. So none of the customer data is going that way. We're using it just as a platform to manage, to configure the devices, but you can use it to, look at, well, what's happening within the network, but not necessarily what that data is. So you're not necessarily scanning for that data. So SMBs can move to this kind of platform very easily because it is secure. It's hosted within the Amazon cloud as well, and in multiple spaces across the world, being on the different instances that are there, or the same instances just duplicated across multiple locations around the world. So it's very secure in that, and all the communications is using industry standard encryptions. That is part of the communications that is used by these devices for the management piece. So we're using network standards that the industry has accepted for this kind of communication, and doing that in a very secure and encrypted way.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Troy. A couple more questions left here for you.
Okay.
The next one says, are there multi-tenant features for MSPs or channel partners within Nebula?
Yes, so there is an MSP pack if you're looking to manage, let's say, I would usually say about 15 to 20 different organizations, customers. Or if you have multiple admins that need to be assigned easily across, hundreds of different customers, then there is an MSP pack. It gives you almost like a 65,000 foot view um, of the entire organization or your entire account, in a sense. That lets you then assign very much kind of like a Windows permissions window where you can drag, well, this user gets access to these 5 customers, and it makes it easy for you to add and remove them. In the normal way, in the non-MSP view way, I guess you could say, you would have to go to each one of those orgs, add those admins in one by one if you wanted to do it that way. And then if they left and you had to remove them, you would have to go back in one by one and remove them. So that MSP view gives you a very easy way that if you do remove them, then all those underneath them would automatically be removed for you. So it helps you to manage it that way, but then it gives you that multi-tier structure. Even the free level gives you that organizational view. So even as an MSP with the free pack, it only gives you 24 hours of logs. So it's just more of like a break fix, gives you a quick view, but maybe your customer isn't paying for an MSP or managed service themselves. But for the cost that we're talking about, it can easily be rolled into your monthly kind of management fee. So just give you a perspective, per device, it's about $2.50 street price per month. So it's $30 a year per device. And that could be, if you're looking at a doctor's office that has an AP, a switch, and a firewall, you're looking at street price $7.50. And so it's very palatable for that end customer. If you said, hey, if you want full managed solutions, it's covered by a $10, MSP fee or something like that that's rolled into that. But we have customers in those kinds of scenarios who are charging part of their service because they are actively managing those networks now and have all the tools necessary to them. They're charging, $50 to $100 per month for their time and services. But it gives you then all that information. So depending on how you're structured, there's no billing structure per se, within the Nebula platform. So the billing side of it still needs to exist within your own business on how you manage your monthly billing fees, et cetera. But it does have a licensing kind of auto licensing or auto billing function for you to renew the licenses that are there as well. So you can either do that, or you can buy the products, etc. We would recommend you buy the products through Microcom, or even the licenses through Microcom, so that you can get that support from the Microcom side.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Troy. Last question here for you. Do you offer hybrid 5G plus Wi-Fi 7 gateways with embedded AI capabilities such as real-time analytics, management, and power monitoring?
No, currently on that kind of CPE side with the 5G like integrated, we do not. Mostly because of the certification costs, for the 5G part and going through that process. So we are open to that. We do have 5G products that are in basically in outside of the US that are being used today and work fine, but it's more about that certification. So we do have um, projects and customers who definitely drive that quantity or drive that demand, then we definitely will investigate for that. But until now, until then, we don't have an integrated device, and our focus is that if you have 5G connectivity, you can get a more basic CPE to provide you that connectivity, but now you can put a more advanced firewall with full UTM security, things like that on the local side.
Excellent. Thank you, Tri, for answering all of those questions for us today. And also thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. And if anyone does have any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep, or you can email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned and shown here today, please remember that this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so we can all view it again. Tri, thank you very much for your time. I love the presentation today. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I'm sure they will, or they have rather. And until next time, because we'll do it again, I'll touch base with you so we can go over the next segment. And thank you for showcasing so much information for us today. Everybody have a fantastic day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.